can't look a mess in this video. This is not the one. What up? My name is Jade Fox. This is the Made You Looks channel, and today I'm going to help you take better photos. If you're someone who is always nominating yourself to take the photo because that way you don't have to be in the photo, if you are someone who immediately tenses up whenever there's a camera around, if you're someone who's always putting gang signs in front of your face so that you don't actually have to make a decent face, if you're someone who's always sticking your tongue out and making funny faces and putting your clothes and your hands in front of your face to take the pressure off of you for actually making a genuine face in a photo, this video is for you, man, because I used to be that person. I felt very awkward in front of photos, and I regret it because so many years of my life I was taking other people's photos in school, high school, college, and because of that I don't have a lot of photos with my friends from back in the day. I have a few, but they're all drunken and blurry and honestly look like ultrasounds. So I'm not a model. I am not a photographer. I am just someone who has done a bit of work and now knows how to take a decent photo. And I'm not one to like be super posy, and I'm not one to give you a whole lot of model face. I don't do model face at all. But I have done a few steps, a few things, and I think that they will help you if you were in a similar boat. First things first, you need to get comfortable in front of the camera. So whether you take selfies on self-timer in your room, or you have a friend or a sibling, whatever, that can take photos of you, you just need to take more photos. That way taking a photo isn't a thing. Because as soon as you like see a camera and you kind of like tense up a little bit, or you feel like the need to like do something with your face, like you can see all of that in a photo. Like you can tell when someone is trying too hard. You can tell when someone isn't trying at all. You can tell when someone doesn't want to be there. You can tell when someone genuinely wants to be there. You can tell if someone is confident or not. You can literally see all of that through the photo. And so I would say get comfortable in front of the camera just by taking a bunch of different photos without the intention of actually posting them. If it turns out good and you like them and you want to post them, hey, do you. Get into that algorithm bag. But I'm saying to practice taking photos. And more importantly, the more photos you take, the more you kind of learn your face. So to give you a bit of background, I was someone who didn't really know what to do with my face in photos. And it wasn't until years ago where I had this job and met my friend Josh, who is my really good friend now. We don't work together anymore, but he's my really good friend. He's a photographer. And I was telling him this years ago, and he was just like, well, let's go take photos because I feel like you can take a good photo. And granted, he was a whole photographer, so I think I got lucky in that regard. But we would go out on our lunch breaks and we would just literally go into the neighborhood, because where our office was, it was like right next to a neighborhood. We would like go into a neighborhood and just take a bunch of photos. And a lot of them came out kind of awkward, or they came out a little weird. But over time, the more we took, the more I learned my face, the more I got more comfortable with my body, the better the photos came out. Practicing different faces and poses in front of the camera or the mirror is something that was helpful to me. So I don't know if this has ever happened to you, but you know when you look in the mirror and you're posing, or say you put on an outfit and you really like how you look, and so you're like kind of doing, you know, your little poses and faces in the mirror and stuff, and you're like, why can't I do this in front of a camera? Hone in on what your body and your muscles in your face feel like when you are making that pose, whether that be a full body or just your face, whatever, and the mirror. Basically get familiar with what your muscles in your face and what your muscles in your body are feeling like when you look how you want to. That way you can do it without a mirror being there. On my Instagram, in my photos, I don't do, like I said, I don't do a lot of model face. I don't do a lot of super posy photos. And I think that just comes from the fact that it's just not really me. And so in your practice, whether it's your poses or your faces and that type of thing, just do stuff that feels natural and genuine to who you are. Because if you're trying to be somebody else, if you're trying to copy what somebody else does on Instagram or whatever, it's gonna show. And the best photos always come off as the most genuine. And you can't really take a genuine photo if you ain't even you. I don't know who that bitch is, but if you've not even you in your photo, it's not gonna come off how you want it to. I can give you a cute little smolder. I can give you a cute little straight face. You know, I can do that. And that is kind of like my basic, you know, kind of go-to face. Now that we've talked about poses and faces, you gotta lock down at least 5. Let's work with 3, you know, as a baseline, but really you wanna get to like 5 go-to poses, and at least 2 of them I think can be your non-pose poses. So one of my favorite non-pose poses is the profile. Okay, boom, straight this way. I'm not making any faces really, I'm just looking over here. That's one of my go-tos when I kind of get tired and I don't feel like posing anymore. Now the problem with the profile though, because a lot of people do it, is that can't be your only pose, because then if you go to your Instagram, and this is obviously, I'm talking a lot about pictures for Instagram, but these are just pictures for whatever you want. But if you go to your Instagram and you just see nothing but here, it's just a series of mug shots. And also the profile photo isn't great full body. I feel like it's more impactful when you kind of crop it to a portrait style. Nonetheless, that's a good kind of no pose pose. Another good no pose pose, in my opinion, is, this is one of my favorites. I just kind of take whatever I'm wearing. I feel like it's more effective if you have on like a really chunky sweater or like a hoodie or something like that, and just kind of take it and just go like this. So yes, those are my 2 non-pose, and then I have my cute smolder, that's 3. I have my arms up, that's 4, and then 5 would be kind of my go-to for any full body shot, which I don't know if you'll be able to see, you won't be able to see it, but it's like I just kind of shift all my weight to one side and put a bend in my hip, because bends in the body just always look good. Put a little bend in the hip, and then I will kind of square off my shoulders, or maybe I'll push them up like this. And that's another thing too when taking photos. Like if you're doing a thing that you like with your face, or if you're doing a thing that you like with your body, or that you want to try out, make that same face and just do like the Beyonce tick, 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 tick fight, because that's how you're gonna figure out what angles you like the best. That's why I say it takes a lot of photos to get like a good photo. Unless you're like a trained model or something like that, and that's literally what you do on a day in and day out, then it's probably not going to take that many. But most people that you see on Instagram, most people that you would look to and be like, wow, they take good photos, they probably took minimum 50 photos just to get the one that you saw that actually made the feed. So keep that in mind. Take a lot. Don't take 10 photos and then be like, oh, all these are trash, I'm not photogenic, and I'm never taking another photo ever again. Like, take a lot of photos, okay? I promise you, you are going to find at least one that you like. And then also, if you don't take any that you like that day, it's not that big of a deal, girl. It's really not. You're not ugly. You're not photogenic. You just didn't have, maybe you just weren't feeling it. Maybe you weren't super comfortable. Maybe you didn't like your outfit. I don't know what the case was. Maybe they just didn't turn out right. Whatever the reason is, it doesn't mean anything. They just weren't good photos for that day, and you can always take more later. The last tip, which is a very like Boys and Girls Club sounding ass tip, is to be positive. Go into taking photos with the feeling, with the gumption that I'm going to get a good photo today. Because if you go into it being positive and not thinking that you're ugly, not thinking that you look this way, not thinking that you look this way, all of that, all of those feelings, those negative feelings that you have, those negative thoughts about you and how you look are going to show through the photos. And guess what? You're not gonna like them because you did this, okay? So when you go to take photos, like be like, all right, I'm a bad bitch. Let's see if we can take some bad bitch photos today. Like, go into it thinking that, okay, I'm gonna come out here with some bomb photos. Don't get mad if it doesn't happen, but nothing bad has ever happened from going into anything with a positive outlook, okay? You lose nothing by being positive. You lose nothing by just being a bit more optimistic when it comes to taking photos. And that's another thing. If you feel cute in the photo. You see what I'm saying here? Like, instead of kind of doing your normal, like, give a moment. Even if it feels silly, even if it feels like you're doing a lot, you don't have to post them, if that's something that you're taking the photo for to post. Like, you don't have to post it, but just like feel yourself in front of the camera, because honestly, what do you lose? You lose nothing. And then I promise you, once you start to see some photos that you like, once you start to see some photos where you're like, damn, I look good in this photo, it's gonna become easier and easier, because you're going to believe more and more that you are a photogenic person. You're gonna believe more and more that you can take a good photo, and it's not going to be this like big stress that it is now. Those were my completely all over the place tips for how to take a better photo. I will try and find some photos kind of sprinkle throughout this video to kind of show you my evolution. Go ahead and follow me on Instagram for inspo, okay? And I will see y'all very soon in another video. Bye, girl.